Today I'm going to show you how we can create our own procedural solar panel material, just by using a few nodes. And by the end of this video you might realize that it's actually not that hard as it looks like. So let's go straight to Blender. So let's open a new project in Blender. This is my default scene. And let's go straight to the shading. Now this is probably like a step 0, but whenever I create some materials I usually need some visual reference. This allows you to explore even the tiniest details that you would normally overlook. So whenever I'm building anything I usually have some reference photos. And I advise you to do the same. And if you don't know where to find these references, I usually use Pinterest for everything because whenever I'm looking for, in most cases I usually find it here. So let's go to the shading panel and let's create a new material. And we can actually name it as well. And before we start creating the material, what we can do is to actually break down the complex material into the individual layers. As you can see, there are a lot of characteristics that this material has. We have this white diamond pattern, which is basically evenly spaced across the whole material. We have this square grid pattern, which is basically separating the panels into individual tiles. We also have these vertical lines coming from the top to the bottom. And of course we have these tiny horizontal lines. So let's make the diamond pattern first. So let's add the Voronoi texture. As you can see, we have this Voronoi texture right here, but we need diamonds, so I'm gonna switch to the Manhattan pattern. But it's not really in the grid order, so we need to bring the randomness to the 0. And for this we also need to use the UV coordinates. So let's add texture coordinates, and now plug the UV to the vector. We can also scale the Voronoi texture to 10. Now we actually need to set a threshold for this black and white texture, because now we have a linear gradient from the white to the black, which is not what we want. We need a constant follow between the black and white values. So let's add a mask node, and let's put it after the distance, and let's switch the operation to the greater than. We can see that now we have this diamond pattern that you can adjust by adjusting the threshold. Now let's make the grid pattern. For that I'm gonna use a brick texture. So let's add a brick texture. I'm gonna plug the UV to the vector as well, and let's preview it. So first we need to set the offset to 0. We also need to set the same aspect ratio for the width and for the height. So let's add 0.5. Now let's set both colors to the pure white. So first color and the second color. If I preview both textures, you can see that they are basically matching with each other because we are using the same coordinate system. Which means that now we can actually combine these two textures together. And we can do this by using a mix node. So let's add a mix color node. And let's connect both textures. And let's connect both textures. Let's preview the mix node. And we also need to change the operation to multiply, because by multiplying these two textures we will basically maintain black areas, because the black areas here refer to 0, and if you multiply 0 by 0 it will stay 0. So let's change the operation to multiply, and let's bring the factor all the way up to 1. Now we can see that we have something very similar to the grid pattern here. We can adjust some few settings like the mortar size, which is too thick, so I'm gonna set it to 0.01, and it actually looks better this way. Now let's add these vertical lines that go from the top to the bottom of the texture. And the easiest method how to do this is by adding a wave texture. So let's add a wave texture, and if we preview it, we can see that now we have waves, but we need them to actually start here on the top and essentially go all the way down here to the bottom. And for that reason we would use the UV coordinates as well. And because these lines are too thick, we need to adjust them. So to make them thinner, we can actually duplicate this matte node. So I'm gonna duplicate it, and I'm gonna plug it to the wave texture. And again, if we bring down the threshold all the way down to like 0.05, or maybe even less, 0.025, you can see that it's actually working. But I'm probably gonna make it even more thinner, so I'm gonna do 0.001. We will join these two textures with the same method as we did before, so I'm gonna duplicate the multiply node, and I'm gonna multiply the wave texture with these two textures that we multiplied before. But now if I preview the textures, we can see that the wave texture is a little bit off, and it's not following with the pattern. This is because the scale of the wave texture is for some reason different from others, and it uses some different scaling system that I don't understand. But here is how we can fix this. If you click on the scale, and you simply type pi, you can see that now the wave texture is aligned with the grid texture. It for some reason matches the scale of the other textures that we added before. But as you can see here, we want the wave texture to actually be twice of the size, because as you can see here, the waves are basically coming through the tiles. So we need to multiply the pi by 3. And now as you can see, we have the waves that are coming through the center of the squares. So now let's add these thin horizontal lines. So again, I'm gonna duplicate the wave texture. I'm gonna bring it up, and Again, I'm gonna use the UV coordinates. We want the waves to be horizontal, so we are gonna change the direction to Y. Again, let's duplicate the math node and let's plug it after the wave texture, and we want the scale to be way bigger. And because we have much more horizontal lines than the vertical ones, we need to adjust the scale to some bigger number. Again, let's set the scale to pi, and I'm gonna multiply the pi by some bigger number, for example like 20. If we come closer, we can see that we have the lines, but we can make them a little bit more visible, so I'm gonna change the thresholds to like 0.35 or maybe even 0.5. And the same process again, we're gonna take the multiply node and we're gonna multiply this wave node with the rest of the textures. And as you can see, we have basically the same appearance, we have basically the same pattern, but what we obviously like is the color. The color of the solar panels are usually blue, sometimes they are using different shades of blue or there is some variation in the tint. So let's duplicate the multiply node, let's plug it after, and let's connect the multiply node to the factor. Now let's take the first color and change it to the pure black, and for the second color we can actually choose the blue color. So I'm gonna select it and let's choose some cool blue. Yeah, I like this one, and let's make it a little bit darker. To make the color variation that you see here, we can use noise textures. So let's make some space here, and let's add the hue, saturation and the value node. Before I plug the color to the B socket, I can actually copy the color from here by Ctrl C. And with Ctrl V I'm gonna paste it here. Now let's plug the color to the B socket. To randomize the color we can add the noise texture. We can plug the factor into the value. Now let's increase the detail and let's increase the roughness. But because it's too dark, we can actually adjust these values by adding a map range and plugging it between the noise texture and the hue saturation node. And let's change the max to 2. And if you want to have a little bit more control over the contrast between the black and white values, you can add a contrast node and you can increase the contrast. And now we are basically done. We can plug the output of the mix texture to the base color, and if we preview the shader, you can see that now we have the material, but we also need to change the black to white. So if I change this, you can see that now the colors are basically the same. The only thing that we need to do right now is to actually tweak some material properties inside of this principal PSDF to actually make the material look more realistic. So if we increase the metallic slider to 1, you can see that it already looks way better. But instead of doing this, we can actually control the metalness even more by actually plugging this black and white texture into the metallic slider. For the roughness, we can actually use this noise texture that we have right here. So let's take the noise texture and let's plug it to the roughness. You can also duplicate the brightness contrast node to actually tweak the roughness, which is way easier than actually using a color ramp node. For a bump, we can use the same black and white textures as we used here. So let's add the bump node, and let's connect the output to the height of the bump node, and let's connect the bump node to the normal socket of the principal BSDF. Now this is just a detail, but if you also want to add these black dots, what you can do is that you can duplicate the Voronoi texture. Let's bring it up, connect the UV coordinates. Again, let's plug the UV coordinates to the vector. Let's change the distance, and let's use the smooth F1 feature output. So if I preview it, you can see that now we have spheres. So if I just run this through a color ramp, and I bring the white all the way down to the black, I change the interpolation to ease, and I make the black a little bit more brighter. You can see that now I have the same effect, and the only thing that I can do is I can multiply it with the mix node. So let's add a multiply, and let's multiply it with the color, and let's plug it to the color as well. Now we can just tweak the color ramp until you get it right. And that's all. Now you have your own realistic solar panel texture that you can procedurally adjust as you like, and you can also use it in your renders. So I hope you liked the video. If you want to get this material, I'm gonna put a link in the description under this video where you can download this project for free. So if you like this video, leave a like, subscribe, share this video to some of your friends. You can also comment what types of videos you want me to do in future. And with that being said, I'm gonna see you in the next video. See ya.